I am Frank, the Great Grizzly of the North.
Crap, my microphone was off. That's fantastic. And we just finished. And we just finished game one. Of Ohlone versus University of Cincinnati. And why don't you recap for us? Oh, and they're actually going to champ select without like letting us do our little intro thing. So we're just.
Hey, I told them they can go.
Oh, okay. So now it's the players and you trying to
do what I want. I'm the Great Grizzly of the North. I do as I please. Winter is coming. That is my time. That is when I'm of the greatest strength.
Well, we're gonna go into champ. Oh, and we're actually having a disconnect, which is fine. There were no pits and bans yet. So. Yeah. I wonder if it was the Vi.
So
game
UC
crash.
had all of their members. That means we win, right?
That's not quite how it goes.
I don't know, man.
And the viewers are the Vi from last match is getting angry at me for saying that it was Vi who disconnected. Oh man, now the players don't like me either.
That's the risky run. That's the risky run. See, here at UC, we're a big happy family, and there's none of that. You're on your own, man. I can't help you.
Don't leave me, Grizzly. That's a weird nickname. I'm not going to call you that anymore.
Oh,
like,
everybody calls me the Grizzly.
Really?
You can call me Frank.
Well, the Grizzly works, but if I just go like, "Hey, what's up, Grizzly?" Like, actually, no, that sounds fine. It sounded weird to me. Just.
Okay, let's be fair. How many people have the nickname Grizzly or anything of that sort? So it's gonna sound weird at first, and you know.
Yeah.
I can guarantee that members of the UC community are probably mad that I don't have a webcam going right now because I always enjoy seeing the beard.
The beard. I'm trying to grow a beard, but I can't grow facial hair very well, so it looks really weird.
Must learn the ways of the Grizzly. Anyhow, going out to the bans, we have Vayne once again going down and Hecarim going down.
Same bans so far as last time, and I wonder if they're gonna. They banned the Lee Sin. I can see that sacrificial lamb-esque play worked out, and even when they didn't just sacrifice him and he just went all in to actually do some work, he did end up kicking Ohlone's 80 carry around quite a bit.
I'm interested to see what UC's next ban will be. Renekton, that makes also a lot of sense. Because I mean that top lane was not easily won by any means.
Our viewers are thinking Vi, so I wonder if that's gonna be a ban.
I don't know. I don't actually necessarily see that being a ban. Because while Vi was very helpful, it was always followed up by that Renekton.
And it's gonna be Orianna. So different bans, the Vayne and the Hecarim.
Orianna banned Orianna. I just want everyone to see this.
Well, I could see them banning it away for the maybe for the first pick, but I don't know if that would be what it is.
I'm not sure about that last pick, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think Vi actually might have possibly been a better choice. Just like I said, it was always followed by that Renekton stun. But as I said, we shall see.
We shall see. But yeah, the bans, Vayne and Hecarim, same as before, and then we see specific bans. Well, the Orianna isn't really a specific ban because they banned it away from themselves in a way. And Jax picked up as a first pick for Ohlone.
Warwick. That is an interesting choice.
Do you think he's just teasing, or are we actually going to see this?
I could honestly see an actual Warwick choice. Because it goes under a similar idea of what happened last time with Vi, in that ultimate is ridiculous. Just because it locks people down. And if it can be followed up with something kind of like what happened last time with Renekton and Vi. And now Genkill's just messing with us because he's bored. He does that from time to time.
Well,
Gimki.
all of his he's actually gonna lock in Jarvan.
That's potential.
Yeah, and we're gonna see Caitlyn as well.
From these two choices, I am kind of wondering what they're trying to get this time around.
Yeah, I'm thinking the exact same thing. That's why I'm kind of before I say anything stupid, I want to think about what they're trying to accomplish with these picks. But moving on to Ohlone, while we think about that, we see Thresh being picked up by Ohlone this time. Last time it was on Cincinnati's team, and Shade looking to figure out which AD carry to use against that Caitlyn.
I'd have to say Ezreal's a pretty solid choice for that.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to arcane shift out of random Piltover Peacemakers and being able to gain some ground if he gets caught by a trap. So I wouldn't be too surprised to see that Ezreal's pick staying. And it does. So, like we were talking about on the Cincinnati side, I am very curious to see what the rest of these picks are, because Jarvan is very good utility. He can get over walls. He's pretty bursty. He has a buff for the team, and the ultimate is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. And Lulu being hovered over, and I kind of want to see that pick because I absolutely love Lulu. She's my favorite support. So seeing that being picked up would be great for this match. For me, at least, it would make the match a lot more enjoyable to watch.
Well, I think I kind of see what UC's kind of headed for, I think. But I could be wrong on this. I think they might be going for very much a lockdown team. And they have the potential to pick up a lot of people, and between the J4 ult and the Lulu ult, making J4 just a massive damage sink. But it's kind of what I'm leaning towards, because you have the potential from the slow, from the Glitter Lance, you have Elise's Cocoon, and you have J4's knockup and the terraforming and all of that.
So Gragas being hovered over, very good champion, can obviously be used to both engage and disengage, and poke and siege and prevent sieges. So I think it would be a very solid pick.
But I wonder, I do have to wonder, are they picking Gragas because they think they're going to be going up against I always forget her name. Elise? Jeez, that's bad. Because they're fighting Elise. Because Elise can go top. That is something that does happen.
Yeah.
Oh, and Aatrox.
And if Lissandra is being picked, then we will. I mean, right? I don't know. Because Elise and Jarvan can both be played top and jungle. So
if you look at it, Lissandra can also be a top pick. It's not often.
Yeah.
At least from what I've seen. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat. I know you will anyways. So I love you. But, I mean, honestly, they have a lot of potential for who is in top, who is in mid. And even if you look at it, a little bit of potential of who is in the jungle if they want to swap around Elise and J4.
Yeah, I'm wanting to see where this is going, where everyone is going, because you're right. This, I think Ohlone's team is straightforward about where they're going, but not so much Cincinnati's team.
Yeah, I'm also just kind of trying to debate what the idea for the teams are here, because on Ohlone, I can definitely see a lot there. Because you have Jax's stun, which can stun multiple people. Aatrox has a multiple person knockup and a slow. You have the hook and the box from Thresh. Ezreal is Ezreal. We're not really going to count that too much. It's just he's hard to pin down, and not necessarily going into the team comp that I'm looking at. And then Gragas for a lot of disengage, and if it's thrown right, an ultimate that will knock the team in the correct way, like knocking an 80 carry towards the team. So
Yeah.
like, I'm looking at it very much, at least for Ohlone, a stunned composition, a lockdown composition, which is kind of similar looking to what UC's wanting to do. Honestly, it's just how they're doing it is a little more. It's a bit different.
I think it's interesting that after the J4 pick, the picks that were coming out of Ohlone were interesting because Ezreal can obviously jump over J4's wall. Thresh can throw a Lantern too for whoever's stuck. Aatrox can jump over that wall as well. And Jax can jump to a minion or a ward or another champion out of Jarvan's ult. So definitely interesting picks to, more specifically to just counter Jarvan. But what I see for Cincinnati is the Jarvan ult with the Lissandra ult. I mean, unless they can get out of the Jarvan ult fast enough, it wouldn't be effective. But that would be definitely very scary.
It would be very scary, but the only problem I'm looking at with that is the Lissandra ult going onto somebody will lock that person down. I would assume it'd be Ezreal. They want to put Ezreal down so he can't be doing that damage and maybe pick up, say, Gragas or Jax. Or they might put it on, they might throw the ult on, say, Aatrox just to lock him down as well and try and pick up the other people. But it doesn't prevent them still from jumping the wall. It slows them quite a bit, but it doesn't prevent that wall jump. So I'm not really sure how they're going to handle that. But what they might be really looking for is to do exactly what you said. Get that slowdown. And then have Jarvan cancel the ult after they've all jumped, and have Lulu hit Jarvan with the ult so he can go in, knock him up, and he has the slowing aura from Lulu's growth. Like I could see that as definitely what they're kind of shooting for their perfect team fight.
Yeah, and worth mentioning that I think this time around both teams are showing comms. I think Alone's team last time, they didn't have a very specific comp in my opinion that you could just pinpoint. So I think it's interesting that both teams are choosing, or at least we see it as these comps, but maybe we're completely wrong. But
we could be. We can't hear what they're talking about. We don't know what they're doing, and that is the grand issue with any shoutcaster. Really, it's just you have to consider all the different options, and you have to know about the game. And we could be completely wrong. Who knows? We'll find out. I will say the severe lack of skins on Ohlone depresses me. But they do have the pulse fire, so you know, makes up for it a little bit.
Well, in terms of skin wars, it's 2-4. So I don't know. I don't know if that determines much other than how much money you put into League.
That determines who wins. This is pay to win.
Oh, okay.
Come on.
I didn't know that. I have to spend all my money on League now. I just want to get out of bronze.
Not supposed to give away. You're stuck in bronze.
Oh wait, no. I lied. Okay, everyone watching this, I'm not bronze. I'm challenger.
There you go.
Did I say bronze? Oh, that was just a slip up.
Faux pas.
Yeah. Oh. Alright. And we're in game. My game was behind, like, by 10 seconds. That was very weird. But, alright. We're all caught up now. So,
welcome to Summoner's Rift.
Let's see how game 2 plays out for Ohlone
UC
versus UC. UC ahead by 1.
UC is definitely looking to try and do that gank again, but Ohlone is going to get in that bush and get that vision. Jarvan is just walked into it.
Yeah, and Flash taken off of Jarvan, and the Ignite coming out from Jax, and Ezreal picks up that first blood. So Jarvan's Flash down, and he's dead, but he's going to make it back up in time for that jungle
UC,
spawn.
though, is backing away from that red, which is a smart choice because it did look like it was they were coming in for the main invade, but Ohlone is backing off. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that.
Well, they didn't get any wards off at all. UC did ward their red to ensure that they would get it, but other than that,
Minions have spawned.
no wards. So I think Ohlone just got the kill and decided that was it. We're not gonna risk anything else right now. But yeah,
J4 starting at red.
Yep, both junglers starting red.
Once again, an interesting choice. I think I understand why he's doing that. He's very concerned about losing his red. But I might have gone with blue just because you have more people able to damage it if they're going to be helping. Kind of like what happens for what just happened for Ohlone on their red.
Yeah.
Because then he got a leash from Gragas and a leash from Thresh and from Ezreal. They did clear the reds both clear the reds at about the same time. So, grand scheme of things, I guess it doesn't matter. It's just who had to end up burning more pots.
And right now all lanes looking kind of even. Thresh trying to hook Lulu, not connecting quite.
So, you know Ohlone. Looking at their Thresh, have you ever played with their Thresh?
Their Thresh is the main player. No, I have not.
Okay.
So
I'm just curious if you had any insight on the amount of hooks. J4 coming in, but there is a ward for blue, and he's just trying to pick up a buff, I do believe, or trying to catch Aatrox at his rates.
Yep, and now going to mid. We'll see how that goes. Gragas actually pushed up quite a bit, but Aatrox there as well, and we're going to see both junglers here. Are they going to back off? And we're going to see Jarvan go in for that Gragas, and Aatrox just kind of letting him die, and then coming in right after. Not completely sure about that.
What happened there?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like I honestly thought Aatrox would have jumped in on that and knocked him up. I know we talked about earlier that you have to know when to let your teammate go, but I don't think that was really that situation. Then Aatrox was just hanging out outside of the bush. I wonder if he lagged out a bit there.
Yeah, I was about to speculate that I believe. Well, yeah, the Aatrox is the same person as the Vi last match, so I mean there could be connection issues again. I mean we can't tell for sure, but that could have been a possibility there. But I don't know. I don't think we can just speculate just like that. Well, I mean we can speculate, but I don't want to be pointing fingers. He got mad at me last time I said it was him who disconnected during Champ Select, so I don't want him to be mad at me, considering we go to the same school.
It's fine. He doesn't know who you are. It's totally fine. It's not like you put your name out on the internet in
Not
front
at
of
all.
a crowd of people. Oh.
This is anonymous.
Anyhow, going back again.
Elise putting down some hurt on Jax, and Jax trying to go in for that stun, but Elise getting out of the way of that, and they're kind of trading back and forth.
Thank you very much. You brought me back to a point that I wanted to speak on earlier from that first blood on Jarvan. That I just had a thought that was very interesting. That the other thing that Ohlone has going for them is they have a very sticky team. Like they're going to be able to stick to targets phenomenally.
Yep, and Elise in top fighting that Jax, coming down too early, and actually she does get stunned, and she puts the ignite down. Will it be enough to kill him? And it's actually going to run out and not kill him. But we do see a gank in mid. Jarvan taking a turret hit and a barrel to the face. Aatrox coming in on Lissandra. They might try and go for a kill here. Lissandra flashing over. Aatrox flashing after. He does have a pass up, so he does not need to be afraid. And he does get that kill. Jarvan being ignited, but walks away. So 1-0. Almost a 2-0, actually. And Elise being very low as well. And we're seeing some early ganks, mid especially. Seeing a lot of ganks.
Seeing a lot of heavy tower pushing going on right now. For this early in the game, for 5 minutes in, 6 minutes in.
Well, Aatrox and Gragas are both pretty mobile, so by pushing down, I mean Lissandra's as well, but by pushing down that mid lane tower, it'll give Gragas the ability to move around that map, and like he may be fat, but he's still an assassin, so they need to be afraid of that.
Fantastic. Anyhow, no, I would agree with you there. One of the things I'm considering too is after the last game, where Ohlone got those early towers, or they got towers earlier before, say, UC did, but it's still kind of, in the end, it didn't mean too much. So I'm wondering if they're trying to get them as early as possible and try and hammer in the lead the towers give, versus last time they kind of. They did give that advantage, but that advantage started to go down pretty quickly.
And Aatrox and Elise trading in top lane. Elise taking a little bit more damage, and Jax taking that turret for a little bit. We actually saw a kill in bottom sneak by as that went. Lulu got caught out, and my camera keeps wanting to go to top lane for some reason. Lulu dying to Ezreal, if I am correct. And we see it in mid again. Gragas going all in on Lysandra, and she does ult herself, but Jarvan cannot make it there in time. Aatrox coming in for what looks like a counter gank. Yeah, no one else going to be killed right there. My camera just does not. Please stop.
This is actually a good argument for you learn something new in League every day. I did not know that a Gragas ult could force Lysandra off of her Ice Claw, the travel of the Ice Claw.
I didn't either.
Yeah. It's kind of like how I learned a while back that if Jarvan is in the middle of his jump, oh, why did I just forget her name? It's really bad. The boar, lady with the boar.
Oh, Sejuani.
Thank you. Jeez, that is terrible. Sejuani, if Sejuani throws her ult while Jarvan, as soon as Jarvan jumps, he becomes untargetable by that ult. He can't be hit by the ult since he's in the air. So, in an idea, you could technically use his ult to dodge her ult. I don't know how good that would be in practice, but you know.
And bottom lane, Thresh got poked on hard, but he's coming back. There is a ward up in that bush, so we'll see what happens with that. Lulu also taking both supports, just being abused in this bottom lane right now. We'll see what happens. And the ult coming out, Aatrox is just going to block that for him. Jarvan coming down as well. There are no wards. Well, there is a ward in the Tribush, but there is no ward in the river, and we're going to see how this goes because Thresh is low and he's going to back, so this might be a 1v3 for Ezreal. He's coming down. He does not get the knockup, and Ezreal goes away, and the ult comes down, and he flashes over that. And Ezreal being a little bit too slippery right there. Getting down low, but being a little bit too slippery.
But that is something to consider now. The ult timer on Cataclysm versus the timer on a Flash. As soon as that comes back up for J4, he can probably get him if he can force that arcane shift again.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. And right now, both mid laners going for blue buff. And it's good that it goes to both of them. So that'll keep the lane more or less even. And if we look at that farm, actually there's a fight in top right now. Elise being put down pretty low, and Jax is just going to jump on her, finish that off. I think we can see why Jax was banned out last match. He's doing pretty well in his lane. He's down. He is down 10 farm, but he is up 1 kill now. Or not 1 kill. They're actually even in kills. I'm sorry.
And Jax has a lot of utility to him. He can dodge out of a lot of attacks, a lot of tower hits, and he just can stick on a target. So I can see why he was banned, and I can also see why he was chosen this time around.
Yeah, and top tower is going to go down for UC, in favor of UC, and we're going to see what's going to happen off of this.
Well, I will say though, we are looking at a very similar thing to what happened last game. We saw UC take a lot of abuse early on, and then they come back.
I wonder if we're going to see something similar. And then there's a Lysandra gank in bottom lane, but
Clutch
both of them
man.
coming down, or getting away from that. And I wonder, they're rotating upwards. Not completely sure what's going to happen here. They are clearing dragon wards, and both junglers facing off in mid lane right now. And both mid laners returning.
I do think we are seeing something a bit different than from the last match too, in the fact of it seems like Ohlone is pushing a lot harder, a lot earlier.
Mm.
In my opinion, I could be wrong versus when in the first game when the first tower fell versus this one, but a lot of damage was put onto mid tower early on, and top
no.
tower's just already gone.
Well, I have to agree with you about how quickly the tower went down. I mean, last match we saw Ohlone coming down. I mean, their mid laner, their Syndra coming down into that bottom lane, and they never pushed off of it nearly as much. I mean, Renekton pushed that top lane extremely hard, and again we see Alone's top laner pushing his lane hard, but not nearly. I mean, even faster this time as last match. And Dragon being picked up here, or at least trying to be picked up by UC, and they are going to get that with the smite. Nothing really Ohlone could do. I mean, Gragas was throwing those barrels, but the two of them couldn't really have contested that.
Well, I think it would have been very, very risky. Oh, I don't know if it was actually on cooldown or not at that point, but Dark Flight for Aatrox might have been on cooldown, but if it wasn't, the riskier play could have been a Dark Flight over the wall for a smite and trying to get out with a Bloodwell, because he still has not popped the Bloodwell. No one has been able to pin down Aatrox and kill him yet.
And top lane, Aatrox is being a nuisance to UC again. They're just pushing that tower. He's already pushed up to that second tower and did put a little bit of damage on that. And Gragas's barrels are hurting Lissandra. She's at less than 50 HP in that mid lane, and we'll see if he is going to be able to follow up on that at some point.
Oh. I think Gragas is definitely going to be big issue for Lissandra, honestly. If I recall, his AP ratios are better. I also find it interesting that Lissandra is already trying to build up a
Azonias.
The Azonias, yeah. And she does have she's already filled up the bonus armor and the bonus ability power, but I don't know if Azonias would have been my first choice to start a first choice of something to start building when facing Gragas.
I have to agree with you.
She's concerned about Jax and she's concerned about Aatrox and about Ezreal, and it is a good item to have, that's for sure, because there's a lot of AD on that team.
I think the main reason is, I mean, if we look at the gold difference is only 300, even though Ohlone is up 3 kills. And that's mainly because of that dragon. I believe that UC is farming a bit better than Ohlone. But I think that the Zonias as a first item is because her ult is essentially a mini Zonias. So with that Zonias, she has 2, so they might use Lissandra to initiate, possibly, or they're just afraid of being burst down immediately.
Well, you were talking about a farm, and as it sits right now, you have pretty even farm top lane. At least it is down by about 4. The jungler difference is roughly 20, which is in favor of Ohlone, in favor of Aatrox, which J4 needs to pick that up a bit. Lissandra, though, has 20-ish creep lead on
it's almost 30 now, actually.
Gragas. Yes, it is.
That's
and
quite a lot.
Then there's 15 between.
We're actually going to see in bottom lane Caitlyn being poked down really hard, and Ezreal going in all the way, but she does bear and get the Lulu ult. Lulu trying to put down a little bit more damage here, and Caitlyn turning around to try and get that Ezreal, but she's not going to get him. And Ezreal ulting, seeing if he can pick up that kill, and he stops her from backing, but not enough damage.
Well, that is going to be kind of an important thing, because since she couldn't back, she couldn't start heading back to lane. And Ezreal and Thresh might be able to pick up this tower. Thresh heading out to ward, but Lulu's got to start getting rid of those minions.
We see Jax staying in that top lane. Almost the same thing as last match. where we have Ohlone's top laner just being a nuisance. And then they're going to try and get in on this Lulu here. And the ult knocking her away. She did flash and use her speed buff to get out of the Thresh grab and the Aatrox Stark Flight. But she did get away, but they did trade a turret. And a flash. Lulu slash now being down. So I think that definitely goes in favor for Ohlone.
Indeed, it does. Like, I think Ohlone definitely would be happier if they could have got Lulu with the Grag Assault towards them, but the fact they pick up a tower in that situation makes it that much better. And UC is now down.
And we're seeing Jax collapse down here. Wonder if he's going to make a play. And he is going to go in on Lissandra. Jarvan actually missing his knockup combo. And Graga's trying to stick without Lissandra, but Lissandra using her flash and her ult. Jax going very low. That burn is sticking down, and Aatrox not able to save him right there. Jarvan getting the kill. Release going in on Gragas. Gragas being very low. Tried to drink a barrel, but Lissandra did come over there and get him. They're going to stun Aatrox, and he's surrounded by 3 people, all very low, and his blood well's still up, and they're going to pop that blood well, and he's going to get that health fight, and just trying to turn that fight, but if you have 3 people attacking you at once, that's a lot of damage.
I think he had the potential to at least take a couple of them with him, but there was an excellent freeze by Lissandra there. She hit him at just the right time before he could do anything or try to escape or anything of the sort. And I think that's really what put Aatrox down.
Yep. And in bottom lane, we just saw Thresh trying to initiate, but actually going in favor of UC. Ezreal Arcane shifted at just the last moment to block Caitlyn's ult, and he too got poked down, so they both have to retreat off of this. And we're going to see UC getting that bottom turret.
UC picking up the bottom turret, as you said, and Dragon coming up at that moment, so UC is not going to be able to pick up that bottom turret just yet. But Dragon is up.
Aatrox is actually going to stop that tower from going down with how much? 52 HP. So I mean, I guess that's not too big of an advantage. I mean, that tower will go down soon, but
it will go
right
down
now.
soon. But I guess you have to consider that it's now a tower that's still blocking UC's path.
Yeah. And
but
Ohlone
is going to pick up the dragon.
Yeah. And we're gonna see, and Lulu getting grabbed. And we're gonna see them try to contest it here. The barrel coming down and hitting Jarvan, and Jarvan's just going to walk away from that. The threshold coming out down, as well as the Lulu ult on herself. Lissandra coming back in on that, and Gragas and Thresh going down. Caitlyn coming in right now. Aatrox's Bloodwell is still down. Ezreal's still at full HP, and he's gonna try to kite here. Aatrox low, but life stealing back off of that. Jarvan getting very low. Dark Flight back onto him. He's going to get that kill. Ezreal backed off, was put very low by Caitlyn. Caitlyn following up on Aatrox, who's running towards the UC's base and gets picked up by Caitlyn.
So I don't know if you saw in that last major team fight the kind of interesting thing that happened with Gragas and Thresh's death. So just throwing this out there for people who might find this interesting. It's really just kind of standard commentary, but Thresh died because he took an ace in the hole to the face that was directed at Gragas, and Gragas died before it had even finished its trajectory. So already heading towards the dead champion, Thresh walked directly into the line of fire and took the ace in the hole to the face, which I just find kind of interesting.
And Lissandra trying to dodge that barrel, but still gets hit by it. And bottom lane picked up that 54 HP turret.
Excuse me.
It's getting late.
Hey, in Ohio, it's almost midnight.
I know, I can't make excuses. It's only
Like
8:45. We're going to see a group in mid. I wonder if that's going to turn to a fight. I mean, currently it's a 4v2, so obviously not yet. Quickly turning into a 5v3. And Lulu warding right now. And they are collapsing. Jax is top, and he's actually going to start collapsing now too. So we might see a team fight under Ohlone's mid turret.
He may, but the grand problem with that is with Jax collapsing the way that he is, depending on how he actually gets there, that could be worse for Ohlone. They could lose some people, or they could lose Jax, but he did make it to the mid tower in a good way.
That mid tower very low at only 364 health, so I wonder if they want to try and get it down. I mean, they have a lot of Ohlone has a lot of pokes, so it might be hard to just stand under the tower and try to get it down, especially with Gragas. But I wonder if they're going to try and go for that.
I'd say that's definitely target. UC's main target. They're still there, they're just waiting for another minion wave to push in. Because all it really needs at this point is just a couple shots from Caitlyn.
Jarvan is standing by Ohlone race, trying to be sneaky, but now he is going to rejoin. More or less rejoin with his team. And here comes the minion wave, being cleared very quickly. The Gragas clear is insane. And the Aatrox clear isn't bad either, so minion waves being cleared equally here. Elise getting a little bit tired of what's going on and is going to go top to clear that minion wave.
Well, at this point, I do believe at 250 ability power and the barrel, his barrel roll almost 1-for-1. I think at this point he can clear the entire back wave, but I'm not 100% sure. He might just be a little AP short of that, to be honest.
Ohlone deciding to counter push for mid lane, putting down pretty good damage on that turret. And now we see Elise coming back down to rejoin with her team. Very nice Gragas barrel. Thresh backing, or I mean, I don't think he was actually backing. Thresh just kind of pressing that back button right there. And they're gonna get engaged on right here. Thresh going very low but not actually dying. Gragas ulting Jarvan under his tower. And Ohlone is going to engage with the Aatrox. His blood well is up, and he's going to go down for that blood well. And we traded 1-for-1 for that fight. And a tower, though.
I would have to give that to. I'd have to give that to UC just on the back of that tower.
I agree.
I don't know if any of them are actually keeping a timer on the blood well or not, or watching for it, but they might have thought at that point it wasn't quite up yet, so they were hoping to pick up that second kill. But I mean, see, this is what makes Aatrox one of the stronger junglers currently, because the passive lets him come back to life, and Aatrox had very minimal health, and if you look at him now at blue buff, he's already over half again.
Yeah, the lifesteal on Aatrox is it's great, because oftentimes you don't even need to back after a fight. You can just like he is right now. Go to your jungle, clear some camps, and you're gonna be back up for the next fight.
Though he does have to be careful now, because as we saw, the blood well did pop, and that could be dangerous for future team fights.
This is definitely UC's chance to try to force a fight now. And Jax up, fighting Elise. Elise being caught out more or less, and she does have to use her flash. I wonder if it will be enough damage. And she's going to jump up and come back down, but the ignite was ticking, and that spider had to die. Jax is their top laner has been doing work these past 2 matches.
And he is minimizing that creep difference very quickly, because he is less than 10 away now at this point.
Oh, and Ezreal actually stealing the dragon, and Jarvan being engaged on right there. Ezreal picking up that kill as well. Gragas getting very low. The headshot coming out onto Thresh, who does go down. Lissandra trying to save her teammates here, and does back out though. Caitlyn very low, uses the headshot to back off, but Ezreal does just land one more auto attack. Actually, I do not believe it was an auto attack. But and Lissandra clawing back in there and using her her little AoE to pick up that kill. Ring of Frost, thank you. And top lane, Jax pushing that tower and now fighting Elise. I wonder if she'll be able to get away from this one. And Jax doesn't even fight. He just goes back to farming minions. And Gragas pushing mid. He's going to pick up that turret as well, most likely.
I will say I find it very interesting that I think we're looking at a very similar event to last time, the turrets going down as they did. So if that's any indication, you see you'll probably start heading for mid tower again, try and pick up a Baron along the way, and do what they did last time.
Yeah, I think both matches were close, but at one point in last match, it was the Baron fight essentially, or it wasn't the Baron fight. It was the fight around Baron where Leona was caught and Syndra was caught. That then transitioned into the free Baron and into the inhibitor that turned the match. But right now, both teams 100 gold difference, or about 100 gold, 200 gold difference in favor of UC. So definitely a closer match from last time, but I wonder if we're going to see a large turning point like that, or if it's going to stay relatively close this time.
Honestly, I think we're going to see a point like that again. I think this is going to be my early prediction. My very, very early prediction. I'm going to say that we see a team fight at Baron and it actually goes towards UC. And there isn't, it's not me being a UC person being biased with this. I think what's going to happen is there's going to be a fight at Baron. Ezreal's going to get locked down by the Lissandra ult. They're going to annihilate Ezreal, just evaporate him from the game, and then shift to Gragas and do a similar thing that they did last time where it was just minus those two people and then UC picks up the Baron.
And we're going to see UC trying to contest against that top lane being pushed, and Ohlone just kind of backing out through the jungle. UC in pursuit. And I wonder when the fight will break out. Both teams are grouping. I think both teams are looking for that clean engage moment, and I wonder when we are going to see it.
Oh. All ults except for Ace in the Hole are up.
And Ace in the Hole being up very soon too.
You also have to look at the fact that Bloodwell is ready to go again. So UC is going to have to put down Ohlone 6 times if they want an ace, or if they just want to put, say, Aatrox down, they're going to have to be able to do it twice. They're going to have to do it twice effectively.
Well, it depends on his charge on Bloodwell, which actually right now is nearly full. And UC going for that Baron, not sure if they're trying to bait out a fight, but Gragas doing down a pretty good amount of damage. Baron at about half HP, and Caitlyn dropping very low, so they're going to back out of this Baron pit. I wonder if Alone's going to try to either follow up with a fight or follow up by trying to get Baron.
I don't think they're going to follow up with that Baron just because Jax and Aatrox aren't quite there yet. So I'd say they're just going to be happy in the fact that they pushed UC off of it for right now. They might be shifting towards it now, but I kind of feel like it's still just going to be an issue with UC back in there.
We see Thresh is clearing. Well, Thresh is clearing out wards, and we have we had Aatrox and Jax pushing mid. So I wonder. I don't think they're going to Baron. Well, obviously they're not going to Baron. They did back off of it, and they're just gonna go back and clear their jungle. And UC actually coming back and clearing those wards. And I wonder if they're going to try that Baron fight again.
I don't think they will just yet. I think they want to explore and try and find all the wards that Ohlone has. Try and clean those up, just so they can get a clean Baron fight as the time goes on. Though I do find it interesting that Gragas did not go and clear that ward in the Baron pit, because I do believe that's within enough vision for them to see it.
Yeah. And
I wonder if he's just too concerned about that, or if he's hoping that if he didn't clear it, they would think that there's a pink ward there. But all 5 members of UC in the mid lane, but Jax is up top, trying to split push that, and he might be able to.
Well, Jax right now has a Bork and a Sheen, so he's the longer this match will go, he's going to be more and more effective at split pushing. And he did back now, and this is the moment where UC tries to engage on Ohlone, and there's that disengage from Gragas. That just pretty much saved them right there.
That it did. But Gragas's ult is gone. The explosive cast is gone. So is the box. But in exchange for that, they did get the Frozen Tomb and the Ace in the Hole.
Mm-hmm.
So, not really sure on that, but it looks like Ohlone is going to try and push for that dragon, and UC might be wanting to fight that. But they're taking a lot of poke from those Gragas barrels.
Mm-hmm. And we do have the Vision War coming out. We're gonna see what happens right here. Jax going in on Lissandra. Lissandra dropping very low. She does have to use her Zonias, but she is going to drop regardless. Caitlyn trying to put down a little bit of pressure over here. And now it's going to be a dragon going uncontested for Ohlone.
And it was really well timed stun by Jax, preventing her from using the Frozen Claw to escape that wall. Or, pardon me, Glacial Path. That is the correct terminology. But yeah, he did do an excellent time with that stun just to prevent her from doing that. And Ohlone is now pushing down the mid tower. There's nothing stopping them.
And I wonder if they're going to try and siege that second tower. Aatrox does not seem to want to do that, but I think they're going to try. Excuse me. And they're going to back off for now. They're pinging Baron. So
we could see that, but with that, like I was saying, with that minion wave cleared, I don't think they really wanted to try and push anything without minions there to help them. They are going to pick up UC's blue buff, and it looks like they are warding Baron a lot, trying to keep that as clear as possible.
I think that ping was just a ward ping, because everyone rotated down immediately. But right now, UC grouping in mid. We're going to see if they're going to be able to push anything off this.
Well, if they were going to, they needed to do it a couple seconds ago when Thresh was still far away. And now that Ohlone is back under their tower and Thresh is back, there's a good chance that they're not going to be able to do as much.
Definitely. Bloodwell is available right now. Ohlone splitting their team in two, coming from both sides, but not engaging fully yet.
Well, even without Aatrox there is just the danger of...
Oh, Jarvan being caught out here right now. He's going to try and fight Jax, but his team isn't falling up. Lissandra does come in from behind to try and engage that fight. Zonias while getting the Lulu ult. And we're going to see the full fight turn out here. Jarvan being dropped by Gragas. Elise coming down to try and fend off Jax off of Lulu. Lulu dropping as well. Aatrox jumping onto Lissandra, getting that kill as well. And then we're going to see blue team Ohlone scoring an ace off that. And they are going to push that mid tower and that bottom tower.
And they can, with, like you said, with Jax having what he has, his Sheen and his Bork, he's going to be able to split push that pretty hard if they had the minions, but instead I think they're just going to continue down bot lane since the minions were already there, try and get an inhibitor where they can.
I agree with that.
It's going to be 5 seconds at the earliest. Jarvan, then Lulu, followed by Caitlyn and Elise and Lissandra, but it's not going to be soon enough to stop that inhibitor from going down.
And we're gonna see what happens now. I mean, with that inhibitor down, especially bottom lane inhibitor, that's gonna be the farthest lane from Baron, so that's gonna open up a few possibilities. But that top lane is pushing itself for UC, so that needs to be addressed before they can do anything. But that Ezreal ult should take care of that, more or less.
More or less. But now we see an interesting shift from last game. What ended up happening from last game, where it was UC who took that early, or that not early, but that first inhibitor, and then, or they got the Baron, they got the inhibitor, and just kept pushing off of that. And now with that bottom inhibitor just gone, I don't know if UC is going to have such an easy time coming back.
Yeah, I wonder what's going to happen. I mean, Ohlone could stall around Baron without actually taking it, just, you know, continuously putting down some pressure, because the bottom lane will eventually push itself up with those super minions. So we need to see UC do something, and Jarvan does try to go in. He gets his ult off on Thresh and Ezreal. Ezreal coming back. Thresh dropping down very low immediately. Aatrox going in on that Caitlyn. Everyone trying to, follow up on Aatrox because he did dive the backline all by himself. The ult going down on Lissandra ult going down on Gragas. Gragas trying to get away. Headshot does come out on Gragas, and he goes down as well. Aatrox trying to get on Lissandra and kills her and gets the kill on her. Currently 1 for 3 with Jax running away through the jungle.
And as I said, this seems to be what we do best here at the University of Cincinnati. Pull it out at the last second and just destroy towers and teams.
Well, for once, the curse of shoutcasting went in my favor, because the moment I said that UC has to do something here, because they can't just let them be poked down at Baron with that bottom lane pushing, they immediately engaged on Thresh and Ezreal and got that 1 for 3.
See, those moments are always fun. Once again, going back to the whole summer tournament, kind of like when I called a Zac jump slide on Baron.
And the counter engage coming out here. Jax trying to jump onto Caitlyn. He will pick up that kill. That inhibitor did go down. Aatrox just fighting a 2v1 right now with the Thresh Lantern, but he is going to die. Thresh trying to get on that Lulu. Jax too, he jumps on her, bringing her relatively low. He's just running after her, trying to get her down. Stun coming out. He's going to stun her and pick up that kill. And Elise and Jarvan are going to back off, taking that mid inhibitor. And the Ezreal ult coming out. Not really doing a whole lot of damage. Yeah.
We did see ending up a trade there, but I would have to say that that trade goes in favor of UC just because of the inhibitor that they took. That inhibitor.
Yeah, that's
being
definitely true. That's definitely true. I mean, that especially even if you look at the inhibitors, mid inhibitor is in my opinion favorable to that bottom inhibitor. I mean, it's the lane's shorter, so you're gonna be putting out more minions, but the bottom lane inhibitor is in favor for the Baron fight. So
that is very true. And that bottom is pushing very, very hard for Ohlone.
The gold right now, 2.6k in favor of Ohlone. They're up in kills and up in towers as well, so there's that gold difference.
They do have that going for them, but as we just saw in the last fight, if UC can get those nice clean engages, UC can pick up on those engages.
Yeah, and Ohlone trying to engage here. The Gragas all pushing Jarvan away, or that could have definitely been bad for him. And UC just backing out of this one for now. They do not want to re-engage at this point. Aatrox's Blood Will is actually back up, so this is Ohlone's chance to kind of try and force a fight. But I think they're all heading more or less towards Baron and around mid lane, so I think both teams are ready to fight right now.
One thing that UC does have in their advantage, or they did for just a moment, was that the Ohlone's team was split up, and Thresh is heading to the top lane, which could be, or seemingly heading to the top lane. Going back, that could be dangerous, but UC is going to pick up the dragon. And one thing that I understand what they were going for, they definitely wanted to pick up Jarvan if they could, but now that that explosive cast is out of the way, it will come back shortly.
Yeah,
but without that explosive cast, there is not a lot of disengage for Ohlone.
And the inhibitor, that bomb inhibitor, just got back up. So right now, UC looking, we'll be looking for the Baron most likely. Except the lane right now isn't pushed, so I'm not completely sure what we're going to see.
Well, the biggest issue right now for UC with trying to get a Baron and trying to get that momentum back and push it is Ohlone's had this warded so much that every time a ward's dropped, they know that it's there, or they've been able to clear it, or anything of the sort. So UC is just having a hard time keeping vision and just solo vision on that Baron.
Yeah, and I believe we saw that in the last match as well. That Ohlone's vision was better than UC's vision, and that caused a few more problems than it should have for UC.
But I will say in this match, they definitely did turn it around quite a bit. UC cleared up a lot of vision early on, and that helped them out. And they just got to keep with that mentality whenever they can, which I think they are doing with Lulu having that Oracles cleared out. But she's got to get into the Baron Pit itself and clean up those wards if they get a chance.
Yeah,
the only problem with that is Ohlone keeps putting pressure on the middle lane, and we all know how that song and dance goes.
And Ohlone was pinging that bottom inhibitor, and we're gonna see what they're going to try and do here. Jarvan being a little bit away from his team, almost scouting, and Ohlone coming to that bottom lane. The inhibitor is exposed, so if they're gonna go for it, we're probably gonna see a fight. I don't think that UC, unless UC gets caught out early and gets poked down, I don't think they're just gonna let that inhibitor go down.
No, this could be a very dangerous fight for Ohlone. Did Thresh just flash?
I saw that. Yes, he did. I saw it, and I didn't want to believe it, and I didn't want to say anything because I was like, "Am I being?" I didn't know. Like, I saw the flash, but we're seeing the engage right now. Actually, Aatrox going man mode all the way in, and Lissandra trying to do something here too. But they're on opposite sides of Aatrox right now. Aatrox's Bloodwell is up, and he is just 1v4 against them right here. Lissandra popping her Zhonya's. Jax and Aatrox making short work right here, but they are going to go down. Again, power and numbers favorable, but you have to admire them for trying.
That you do, and if that Thresh watches this, I'm making no mean comment. I myself have pushed the flash button on accident many a time. I just found it kind of humorous.
When I saw the flash, I thought it was Lissandra at first, even though she was well out of the way of the hook. So the fact that you mentioned it was Thresh, I had to actually look up and confirm that Thresh was the one that flashed, because that was a very odd flash. But it happens to the best of us. So
the only real problem with them going for the Ezreal's True Shot Barrage is down for right now. There's definitely a good chance that they could pick up this Baron with minimal.
Yep, Thresh and Ezreal being the only ones up. Well, Graga's just coming up. They're not going to make it there in time. And this Baron will go uncontested for UC. And the True Shot Barrage coming up just a little bit too late.
And like we saw last time, a large turning point for UC was getting that Baron buff and letting them have a lot more siege capability.
Yeah, and I feel like we're going to see UC becoming extremely aggressive now that they have that Baron.
I definitely think we'll see that, and it's getting quite late into this game. We are at almost 45 minutes for a match.
Yeah, the respawn timers are going to be huge at this point, and the cleaner the fight is going to be, the more likely we're going to see them finish this up. I mean, even if they trade like 3 for 5, the last 2 are most likely going to be able to do a lot of damage to that base.
I think one of the bigger issues for Ohlone right now is they have one real good shot into the base, and that's that inhibitor and then the 2 towers there. The problem with that is for those 2 towers just pinging away at them, because the bot lane is pushing in their favor a bit, but if they want to do anything about the actual Nexus towers for bot lane after they clear up that inhibitor, they're going to have to get that entire lane pushing for them.
And Jax just backed off of that bomb lane because UC is pushing for that middle inhibitor. And I think we're going to see a fight break out very soon. At least trying to get some stuns off. And the headshot comes out. Did that not get blocked? I think he actually arcane shifted out of the way of the Thresh and Aatrox body block. I might be wrong, but the inhibitor goes down nonetheless.
Actually, did not get to see that.
He took damage, but so did Thresh. So I'm not completely sure how that happened. But if I saw correctly, I think he arcane shifted out of the body block and actually took that damage.
Well, as you continue to cast, I will actually review the tapes.
Alright, well, UC is going to go for that top lane now. All 5 of them present, while Ohlone is clearing up that jungle. Jax is going for that split push in the bomb inhibitor, but decides otherwise to back because they are knocking on their front door right now. And they're going to take down the start without any problem. Jax needs to get back into this fight. And they're going to go for that inhibitor. Not sure if they have any ability to contest that. Gragas ult comes out. Lulu does get caught out. She does flash out of the way. And Lissandra does go down. Elise re-engaging on Gragas. Gragas getting low and dying. Ezreal and Thresh trying to see if they can pick up any more kills here. Jax did back, and he's currently making plays right here with Aatrox. The two of them just man-moding again together. Going after that Jarvan, and they're going to get him down. Elise going down as well. It's an ace for Ohlone, and we are going to see what they can do off of this play. Um, 5 for 1, so pushing potential there. Respawn timer on Lulu is, and Lissandra's about 30, and Frank's back.
Yes, I was here the whole time. I saw what you were talking about, and it was the strangest ace in the hole I've actually seen go down. Because effectively what happened was the arcane shifted at the last second when it already made contact, and it was the first time I've ever seen ace in the hole curve.
So that's actually what happened. Ezreal did get hit by the ace in the hole.
Ezreal got hit the last second, and the bullet, since it was already on him, and the damage was calculated as far as I could see, it curved between Thresh and the other blocker and hit Ezreal.
So right now, Ohlone picked off 2 inhibitors, mid and bottom, from that ace they got earlier. And however, UC has the minions all in their favor right now, so this should be extremely interesting. Plus, that top inhibitor from Ohlone is open, so we might see. I actually can't call this match. It's extremely close. Gragas might get caught out here. He does body slam away. Lissandra after him, and he does have to use his flash. Ace in the hole coming out just to do a bit of damage, forcing him to walk all the way back. They are trying to get this top inhibitor, and Jax being engaged on, but grabbing that Thresh Lantern, and they are going to get this top inhibitor. Most likely, the Gragas ult trying to get them away from it. Jarvan just knocking away at that, and the fight breaks out. The Jarvan ulting 3 of them, and right now this, the Jax jumping in back on the Lissandra, getting her down, back on the Lulu. Caitlyn just standing on the outside, unable to really do anything. Elise being pushed on as well, and they just traded an inhibitor and 1 kill for 4 deaths, leaving only Caitlyn to defend the base.
Dave honestly might go towards Ohlone. Just looking at it, Ohlone has a lot of pushing potential right now, just to put down that Nexus. And
the Ezreal did pick up a Guardian Angel, so he's gonna be back up if they kill him, or if the Kate kills him right here. So I think they're gonna go for game right now. I mean, the respawn timers are at about 20 seconds, so we'll see if they have enough damage to do that. Bloodwell is down, so Aatrox is going pretty low. He's gonna go in on Caitlyn. Caitlyn gets crushed immediately, and that will be game 2 for Ohlone.
There's definitely a lot of turnarounds in that game.
Both teams had a very good chance of winning. That last fight was insane, and I'm questioning UC's commitment to getting that inhibitor down.
I would have to agree there. I think that was a bit of a dangerous play, and I think they thought it was going to pay off for them better than it actually did.
All right, well, we are going to see a game 3 tonight.
That we are.
And I believe we're going to take a break.
I'd say if the players are ready, let's keep it rolling.
If the players are ready, I'm good to go, because it's getting late over in Ohio.
Well, I'd say let's make the game. we'll make the game and we'll take the smallest of breaks while we set all that up and give everybody in so you don't have to watch boring things. And we'll be right back momentarily.